Hello, you amazing people. Welcome back to RXMemes. Today we are going to be jumping into r slash entitled parents with a focus on retail nightmares. If you have any entitled parent stories, especially to do with retail, let me know in the comments and it can be featured in tomorrow's video. Some of the comments from yesterday's video are going to be here right now. Oh my gosh, you guys had some crazy stories about some dreadful teachers, and I apologize to all of you that you had to deal with that. That sucks. As always, my socials are somewhere on the screen if you want to touch base with me. I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into today's video. Retail work is the worst. So I work in a convenience store. We have a deli but no kitchen, and we have gas but no diesel. Pretty basic setup. Every day I either get, "Where's the diesel prices?" or "Do you have hot food?" My patience has worn over the last 2 years of dealing with people who think I owe them something. Here is one story. So I'm a Southern person with accent, married and 27. I say this because it gives you an idea that I'm just an ordinary person. At work, I am just the cashier. I control nothing when it comes to operations. 7 a.m. is when prices update because my manager updates the signs and stuff. But before that, it would be on the previous day's price. Like most systems, we get the occasional bug. The sign doesn't update properly and I'm left frazzled. "Your sign is different than the pump. It's supposed to be 210, but the pumps say 214. Can you fix it?" She was upset about paying 4 cents more than the sign was showing. "Sorry, only a manager can access the systems to change the prices." "Well, I'm going to need a refund per gallon I pumped back," which was 3 gallons, so only 12 cents. "If I give you the change for it, my drawer will come up missing. I'm not able to refund gas. I'm sorry." EP processes this, but proceeds to ask for my manager, to which I explained he will be in at 7 a.m., 35 minutes from then. "Why are you alone if you know nothing?" Even if he were here, the daily update will still have to take place at 7 a.m. I do understand the issue, but the system does their own thing. We merely correct issues after. Well, she storms off, and lucky I haven't seen her back. This was one of a million stories I could tell you. Another is when I got a drink thrown at me. A lady came into my place and was unhappy we let her kid take a banana, free for kids. I tried to explain for kids it's free, and she said that her kid doesn't need it because she had donuts. I kinda rolled my eyes and apologized, but she wasn't having it. She threw her drink at me. EP leaves child at retail store thinking it's free daycare. Obligatory apologies for mobile format, but English is my first language, so that's a bonus. I work in a tech-based retail store. It's a flagship in London and we're hella busy all the time. We have both sales and repairs. I work on the repair side of things. We also have free training sessions in store, so teaching people how to use our products, and have kids hours as well, so it's appealing for the whole family. We often get a lot of EPs leaving their kids and going off shopping, which we absolutely do not allow as we're not responsible for anyone in those sessions. But they often get a slap on the wrist and realize what they did was wrong. But today's EP takes the cake. I don't know all the details as I didn't deal with her firsthand, but this is what I know from the grapevine, some firsthand account. I am supporting sales for the day as customers go through sales before repairs. They usually have questions about repairs that sales can't answer. That's where I come in. I noticed a colleague in a really deep conversation with this young kid, can't be older than 7 or 8, and didn't think much of it until an hour later the same kid is talking to another member of staff. He doesn't seem to be with anyone. I don't think anything of it until this morning. We've just opened and lo and behold, this kid is back and talking to more staff. A lot of us recognize him because of the really bright yellow jacket he was wearing, and we get a bit suspicious. One of the senior staff goes over to chat to him to find out what's the deal. It turns out the kid's mom has dropped him off at the store and is going out for the day with friends. He tells us she aims to pick him up by 8, as she did yesterday. 2 issues with this. 1, it's a Sunday, we close at 6. 2, what the absolute ever-living fuck? Now this part is a blurry as I was in appointments the whole time and only witnessed the end. One of the managers attempts to get some information from the kid. As we're not liable for him, we need to contact dearest mother and get her ass back here for her kid, but the child doesn't know her number nor does he have a phone on him. Manager is left no choice but to call the police, that also contact Child Protective Services. Not sure if they had to in cases of abandonment or what, that's just what I was told. Police show up and talk to the boy, no idea what happened here, but by some miracle they are able to contact Mumzilla and then shit hits the fan. Turns out she was having a lovely time halfway across London and she's pissed that someone called the police on her son. She eventually gets to the store screaming like a banshee about how dare we interrupt her day. This is kind of how it went. Paraphrasing, as again, I wasn't there. EP, you know the drill. M is manager. Why did you call the police for my son? He was perfectly fine playing with the phones. Ma'am, this is a retail store. It's private property and not a daycare center. We are not responsible for your child. Well, he has been here lots of times and no one has ever complained. It's your job to look after customers. We're here to serve and support, not babysit. What if your child was abducted? How dare you threaten something like that on my son? I would take you to court for negligence. I'm pretty sure abandonment is negligence. All of this was said in front of a police officer, which was wonderful. They were both escorted outside and we began the process of banning from the store. No idea what will happen to the woman or her son. Maybe next time hire a sitter instead of dropping him off with us. EM asks retail worker for money to buy their purchase. This happened to me approximately 8 years ago when I was in high school. I no longer work retail and I'm currently in graduate school, but this story stuck around with me. Anyways, background info. I worked at a hiking and outdoors themed retail store that specialized in boots and footwear, but also sold other apparel and accessories. We did not receive a commission, but our job emphasized the importance of sales numbers. If you helped a customer, you rang them up and the total sales would be added to your monthly sales numbers. There was never really any reward, only punishment for doing badly since our raises couldn't exceed 20 cents per hour, and this would happen once or twice a year. That said, I was still the #1 salesperson in our store often and would always help customers get what they needed as soon as possible. I started helping this lady and your typical Karen, the entitled mom, EM, walks up to me with 3 little kids. One of the kids is looking at all the shoes out on display and messing up their display. We would have to fix each shoe in the aisle, so this already hurt a little, while the other 2 were trying on shoes. EM said that we didn't have the shoes she bought before and showed me a pair of boots that were our brand but were not sold at our store. I told her, "Okay, did you buy these from another store?" These boots were sold at other companies that were outdoor stores which carried our products exclusively, and we did not carry this in our own stores. She said, "No, I bought them here about 5 months ago and they don't fit anymore. I want new ones." I knew this was a lie because, again, these boots were never sold at our own stores. I ignored this and said, "Well, ma'am, it seems you've worn these quite a lot. There was mud caked onto the leather and the rubber was visibly worn down. I can't return these for you because they're worn, but I can help you once I finish helping this other customer. It'll only be a minute." EM says nothing and goes back to her kids as they continue to mess up every shoe on display. I help the other customer and ring her up within the next 3 minutes or so. I return to EM and she's very angry that it took so long. "You said you would only be a minute. I should tell your manager that you've been slacking off." I reply, "I'm sorry, ma'am. There are just some things that I can't control. I'd still be happy to help you find what you need." She says, "You better." About 45 minutes pass, which is far too long to be stuck on one customer, but I let it slide because she picked out about $1,300 in boots and apparel. I move the mountain of boxes to the register for her and start ringing her up. It's at this moment that her kid starts walking out of the store with 4 boxes of shoes. I run after him and say he can't do that. The kid's young, so I yell at him to stop and he does. I then just gently guided him back into the store. This is when EM explodes. "Don't you touch my baby! I want to talk to your manager." I roll my eyes a bit and oblige her. I tell my manager what's been going on and he laughs. He comes out and apologizes to her on the store's behalf and says I'll be very strictly punished for my actions. That's when EM says, "I want all of this to be free or else I'll sue you, your employee, and your company for daring to touch my darling angel." My manager says, "Ma'am, this is $1,300 in product and your son tried to walk off with 320 of it. I understand that he's young, so we haven't called security, but surely you can understand that I just can't give you $1,300. I can. No, I don't understand why you can't just give me this for free. I'm going to sue you if you don't, but I'll tell you what. Why don't you dock the cost from your employee's paycheck to cover the expenses? It's a lot cheaper than going to court and losing. I'm only giving you this offer once, and I'm only doing it to save me the time and effort it would take to go to court. My manager says, I appreciate the offer, but I have no authority to dock his pay for the company's legal battle. If I did, I'd still say no because your son stole from the store. And if I were to steal from my employees, I'd be no better than you. Now I'm going to have to ask you to leave the store and never come back, as we will be banning you and your children. EM throws a tantrum that I didn't care enough to remember and walked out, but not after whispering to her kids before they grabbed some of the boxes and ran. We called security and they found her with the boxes in the parking lot. EM forgot her purse at the register. My manager bought my lunch the next day to thank me for handling the situation as well as I did.